No.
No, 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 no.
Kolay gelsin. Ne yapıyorsun orada? Afiyet olsun.
Hello everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm excited to share a heartwarming story with you titled, The Afternoon Wake-Up Call, Life with My Two Cats. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Of course, if it's not your style, feel free to skip it, no hard feelings. Now, let's begin the story. If there were an Olympic event for sleeping, my two cats would bring home gold medals without even stretching their paws. That afternoon, they had been curled up in their favorite spots for 3 solid hours, completely oblivious to the world around them. One of them was sprawled across the sofa like a furry king who had conquered the kingdom of cushions, while the other had wedged himself into a basket that was obviously too small, yet somehow he managed to fit, with his paws dangling out like little noodles. I sat there watching them, sipping my tea, marveling at how peaceful they looked. The rise and fall of their tiny bellies, the twitch of a whisker, the occasional dream-filled tail flick. It was a free therapy session for me. But after 3 hours, peace began to turn into boredom. I thought, okay, guys, enough beauty sleep. It's time to give me some entertainment. After all, cats may not know this, but humans can only stare at motionless furballs for so long before craving a bit of action. So, I leaned over, clapped my hands lightly, and cheerfully announced, "Rise and shine, my little sleepy heads. Playtime has arrived." Now, here's the thing about cats. They don't exactly appreciate being disturbed, especially when they are halfway through their 10th nap of the day. My first attempt was met with nothing but an ear twitch, as if my cat was telling me, "I hear you, but I'm choosing to ignore you." The other cat gave me the slowest blink in the history of blinks, which I interpreted as, "Human, do you have any idea how exhausting my schedule is?" Determined not to be defeated, I grabbed their favorite toy, a little wand with feathers dangling from the end, and shook it dramatically like I was summoning magic. "Look, it's the birdie," I said, waving it in front of their faces. One cat opened one eye, glared at me like I was interrupting the most important nap of his career, and then buried his face deeper into the sofa. The other cat stretched so slowly it could have been mistaken for a scene in slow motion, then promptly rolled over and continued snoring. At this point, I began to feel like a stand-up comedian performing for the world's toughest audience. They weren't clapping, they weren't laughing, and they certainly weren't participating. But I wasn't ready to give up. I knew these two fluffy comedians had more energy hidden inside them than they were letting on. So, I decided to raise the stakes. The treat jar? Nothing, and I mean nothing, motivates my cats like the sound of a treat jar being opened. It's like magic. The crinkle of the bag or the shake of the jar has the power to summon them faster than anything else on earth. So, I shook the jar dramatically like a magician about to reveal a trick. Suddenly, 2 pairs of eyes shot open. In less than 2 seconds, the cat who had been impersonating a rug on the sofa leapt down, and the one who had been wedged into the basket popped out like a spring. Their tails were straight up, their ears perked, and they looked at me with the intensity of detectives solving a mystery. The transformation was astonishing. They went from lazy sloths to Olympic sprinters in a heartbeat. "Ah, now you're awake," I laughed, tossing a treat onto the floor. They pounced on it, then looked up at me with hopeful eyes, as if to say, "More, please. We are suddenly very awake and responsible cats." After a few treats, I brought out the feather wand again. This time, the response was completely different. One cat chased the toy like it was his sworn enemy, darting across the living room with his back arched dramatically. The other cat leapt into the air with all 4 paws outstretched, twisting mid-flight in a move that deserved a perfect 10 from the judges. The once silent room was now filled with the sound of paws skidding, tails swishing, and my uncontrollable laughter. What started as a lazy afternoon turned into a comedy show starring my 2 cats. They chased each other, pounced on imaginary creatures, and even attempted to climb the curtains, though I quickly put an end to that. By the time the sun dipped lower in the sky, they finally flopped back down onto the sofa, exhausted but satisfied. This time, though, their nap had a purpose. It was the well-earned rest of 2 furry athletes who had given it their all. I sat down beside them, stroking their soft fur as they purred gently, drifting back into dreamland. Waking them up had been a battle, but in the end, it was worth it. My living room had turned into a playground, and my heart was full of joy. Cats may be stubborn, lazy, and occasionally dramatic, but they also have a magical way of bringing laughter and warmth to even the simplest days. And as I looked at their peaceful faces once again, I couldn't help but think, maybe the real trick isn't getting them to play with me. Maybe it's them teaching me to enjoy both the silliness of play and the stillness of a quiet afternoon nap. In many ways, the playful moment of waking my 2 cats from their long nap mirrors how we humans often need a little motivation to break free from our routines. Just like my cats ignored me until I shook the treat jar, people sometimes need the right spark to find energy and enthusiasm, whether it's a new challenge, a hobby, or simply a reason to get moving. Modern life can feel overwhelming with work, responsibilities, and constant digital distractions, which makes it easy to slip into a pattern of passivity. But the story reminds us that joy is not found in endless sleep or scrolling through screens. It comes alive when we engage, play, and connect. The treats, in this case, symbolize incentives we can give ourselves, rewarding progress, celebrating small victories, or even scheduling moments of fun. Just as my cats turned the living room into a playground once they were motivated, we too can transform ordinary days into meaningful experiences when we choose to participate fully. The advice here is simple but powerful. Find what sparks your energy, balance rest with action, and don't forget to play, because laughter and joy are essential ingredients for a fulfilling modern life.